Welcome back to another edition of Components Breakdown. Today we are once again turning back the clock for a brief moment to look at another older game that was originally released in the year 2000 called Battlecry. Battlecry is the original entry of the Command and Color system of low complexity war games that was created by the popular board game designer Richard Borg, and now includes a multitude of well-known titles in the series, including Memoir 44, Command and Color's Ancients, and Battlelore. Battlecry is based on the American Civil War, and with its re-release coming in conjunction with the 150th anniversary of those famous battles, now is again the perfect time to showcase a classic game that kicked off one of the more beloved wargaming systems in the board game market today. Let's first take a look at the game's new set of components. Battlecry features 30 stylized Civil War battles and skirmishes which focus on the important terrain features from the original battlefields of the time, as well as represent the historical deployment of both Union and Confederate forces that participated in each of those battles. Each of these scenario setups are thoroughly detailed inside of the 48-page rulebook, with every possible attempt made to ensuring as much historical accuracy within the boundaries of the game system. These battles will of course take place on the provided game board, which is divided into 3 different sections, giving each player a left flank, center, and a right flank section to maneuver their armies. Now there are a lot of common elements that run through all of the Command and Color style games, one of which are the deck of command cards that are used to drive the gameplay, which can be classified into 2 distinct types: section cards and tactics cards. Now, to quickly distinguish the two apart from one another, section cards will indicate how many and which type of units you may order to move and or battle during that turn. Also, in accordance to its namesake, section cards will also indicate the section or sections of the battlefield where you may issue those orders. Tactics cards, on the other hand, feature special rules that enable units to move and or battle in unique ways, or that create other gameplay effects which are noted in the text of that card. Player armies for both the Union and Confederate States are represented by plastic figures, and come in 4 different varieties: infantry, cavalry, artillery, and generals, each with their own set of movement and combat abilities. Like all Command and Color style games, combat in Battlecry is also resolved through a set of custom dice, in which players will roll a variable number to resolve the effects of battle and card play. The game also includes numerous double-sided terrain tiles that provide a variety of different effects, including slowing army movement, providing cover for units, and influencing the number of battle dice that can be rolled during combat. Finally, double-sided flag tokens are included and are used to mark both units and special abilities or objective hexes per a particular scenario's set of rules. Let's briefly touch now on the gameplay. Since Battlecry is the original template in the Command & Color's gaming system, it also is the easiest to play and to understand, making it a great entry point for not only Civil War enthusiasts, but also for entry-level gamers. For those who are already fans of this system but have not yet had a chance to try out this particular title, Battlecry is essentially the bread and butter version of all of Richard Borg's later entries into the series, making it less cumbersome and somewhat more appealing to quickly pick up, teach, and play through in a considerably short period of time. To briefly summarize how the game is played, players will first select one of the 30 battle scenarios that are included at the back of the game's rulebook. Next, players will set up the game board's battlefield map according to the chosen scenario, deploying armies and placing terrain tiles and flag tokens where depicted. Each silhouette on the scenario's map represents either a single general figure or a unit comprised of multiple troop figures. Players will then review the scenario's staffing notes, which include such items as who goes first, how many cards each side is dealt, as well as the number of captured flags that are needed to win the game, with any other special rules that require players to meet specific criteria during the game. An actual player's turn consists of 5 very easy to learn phases. First, the active player will play one of their command cards from their hand. Second, that player will then announce which of their units they will order with the command card that they just played. Third, the player will then move those ordered units one at a time until all the allowable ordered units have been activated. Now, there are quite a few rules that govern how armies can and cannot move across the battlefield, including both how many spaces particular units may travel, as well as through which types of terrain features they can and cannot enter. All things considered, though, it's not an overly difficult system to learn, so I will leave it up to the viewer to read through the very brief set of rules that are included to better understand each of these different features. Next, after all movement has been completed, those ordered units may choose to battle if they so wish to do so. However, they must have both line of sight and be within range of the enemy target. And again, just like movement, each of the 4 different types of units in the game have a different set of ranges that make them more or less effective on the battlefield. To resolve the battle, players will then roll a specific number of dice in comparison to the distance from their target, usually rolling more dice the closer that the target is to that ordered unit. And again, just like movement, there are a lot of rules that tweak the number of dice a player rolls during combat, including not only their distance from the target, but also include such things as the terrain that they are currently firing from, as well as the terrain that their enemy target occupies. Hits on a target army are scored for each symbol that is rolled that matches the target unit, removing 1 figure from that unit for each hit, with the last piece of a unit being the flag bearer, which when killed is then placed on a player's scoring track for victory purposes. Finally, after all combat has been resolved, the active player will then discard their used command card that was played and draw another card from the deck, effectively ending their turn. Now, players will go back and forth in this same turn phase manner until a player captures the required number of flags to meet the selected battle scenario's victory conditions. The 150th anniversary edition of Battle Cry is definitely an appealing purchase for those who are either interested in the American Civil War or to those who are looking for a lighter war game that shares a few of the same novelties as those of its more popular counterparts in the genre, including games like Risk, Axis and Allies, and even Fortress America. Being as it is the first game in the now very popular Command & Colors gaming system, it also has the distinction of being the most simple to pick up and play, where games can last just about 30 to 45 minutes for experienced players, which is a great draw for those looking to simply jump in and out of a simulated style war game with very little effort. And with 30 total scenarios at your disposal, there is a lot of game here for your money. The components are all very well sculpted, and the artwork on the cards and terrain tiles are detailed and descriptive of what they represent. And although Battle Cry might not be as deep as those games in the series that came after it, it remains a solid and very enjoyable all-inclusive package that defines the series well even today. So that is Battle Cry. I am Jeremy Salinas, and thank you very much again for watching.